let's add a new image and a new set of information to this sample plant database. So we'll say new record, and the screen switches here. And we want to add a new image and some information. So if we pick load image, I've navigated my way to the SPP folder under my documents, and I've got one that I've just taken of, let me just change this to a list, to a Prunus, and I'll open it up. So here's an image that I've just taken showing Prunus nigra in flower. There's a eucalypt at the background, so there's quite a contrast between an exotic species and a native species there. So it's 800 pixels wide, which is a useful size to work with because that could go into CAD software quite nicely. So all I need to do is to fill out information in the various fields here. So common name, Prunus, black Prunus. There are a number of different common names. So it's plant type. It's a relatively large shrub in our environment, or this one's been heavily pruned. The code, we need to add a code, and that's not letting me add a code, is it? That's because I need to go to basic data and pick code, and I need to add a new record, PRNI for Prunus nigra, and OK it, and then close. So now I can go into the code and find, this will be in alphabetical order, the code. So I'm going to use PRNI as a code in CAD software when I want to label a symbol and match it to this plant. Ornamental features here. The prominent flowers are obviously the case. This species will take full stun. Its landscape uses, mass planting, maybe, I can think about it, but really these are specimen plants in our environment. Flower colour, pink. Have I got red, pink? I could add a new flower colour, so let's do that. So it's basic data, flower colour, add record, pink, and OK, and close that. Now when we come here we should have pink in the list. There we are. Bloom time is spring, late winter, spring. Growth rate is medium slow in our environment, and I'm in zone 6. Will it attract birds? Never seen birds on it. Is it suitable as a hedge plant? Not suited. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm classifying the plant. Now I've got a large space down here for comments. I live in a coastal area, so I might put down that as a starter, because I can always search in the comments field for those plants who are suitable for planting in the coastal area. And then I can add a whole lot of extra information, maybe on how to prune it. This gentleman's pruned his to a vase, an open vase-like shape, and so on. Not something I particularly like, but it can be done. So when we've done that, we can say apply the updates, and the updates are now done. The image sits in this folder in our documents. SPP Prunus is the name of the file, Prunus JPG, but it's in the SPP database. We don't have an image URL because we're not downloading it from the internet, and so we can say apply those updates, go back here. We could go now, if we wanted, to a find view, and we could just type in for botanical name Prunus and say find, and we get a long list. Why did we get the big long list? We didn't tick the box find, and we just find Prunus, and if we double click there and say edit the record, we go straight back to the record. So I hope that gives you a good idea of how to manipulate, add elements to the plant database. We're adding here to the sample one. You could do a file and save as and give it your name. Well, you've seen how you can find individual records, but what about when you want to filter a list? We want to take from this group of 47 or 48 now species, how can we filter it? Well, it's relatively easy to do that. If you want to pick out, say, all those plants that grow in full sun with yellow flowers and flower in winter and so on, any one of these fields here, you can search on any one of them. You can also search on any information in the comments field. So let's do that as a slight variation. So what we're going to do now is go to Find View, and it's just a matter of ticking which of these categories you want to search on. So if we want to search on the word coastal, we can say find all species, because we've got the tick there, that will grow in coastal areas. So we say find, and we get a list that the database is filtered. It finds 31 out of the 48 in there that will fit that category. At that point, you could print this onto the screen or your printer. You could export the list to what's called a GCP file or a plant list file. That's just a text file which you can use in your database at some other time. So you can print a list out of plants that meet a particular characteristic. Let's change it again and move away from coastal, and we'll say plant type. We'll take small shrubs that can tolerate full sun, and we'll say find, and the same occurs again. So in this list there are only two species, Banksia roba and Grevillea, the standard Grevillea, that will take full sun and meet those criteria. So can you see, if we close now, can you see that the filter can filter things off to a very narrow group, and you can tick more than one of those characteristics if you like. So if you had a big enough database, you could find all plants that tolerate frost conditions that will have pink flowers in spring, and that might only give you one or two. But as your database grows, you'll have more and more plants in that group. So if we just said, for the sake of argument, all the plants that grow in full sun, we had a short list before. When we filtered it further, we can see the more restrictions you place on it, the less species you will get. We'll try printing. We are going to print, and we'll cancel there because we'd like a print preview. And all pages, so we're doing a print preview. So there we are, there's the little list that's been developed. So I hope that gives you an idea of how you can extend the use of your plant database application. It's for you to work with your plants. You know the criteria and the categories, and this is just a very quick memory jogger, and you'll know when you get the list, you'll know, yes, they're the plants that I want to use, because you've worked with them in the past.